Hey, Inside Crypto people, welcome back to another Bitcoin Weekly, the last Bitcoin Weekly before we jump into a special guest next week who's helping recover stolen crypto funds. But without further ado, let's get into the headlines. So, the headlines for today are USD on the Lightning Network hits an all-time high. Inflation expected at 0.3% in the States, which means probably no rate cut for the US Fed, which is, of course, going to impact the rest of the world. Bitcoin nears 200,000 Bitcoins being held in their ETF. Three Bitcoin price metrics point to Bitcoin being overheated, and Metamask tests first pure on-chain powered payments card. Not to mention, Bitcoin hit $72,000. This and more on today's Bitcoin Weekly. Stay tuned for more. Let's get into the price. And of course, today we have to talk about Bitcoin hit $72,000 as of yesterday. Yesterday it hit 72, came back down, went back up to 72. It was a bit of an interesting but I woke up this morning here in town and it is still at $72,000. Of course, everyone's sitting very happy. Now, of course, the things that lead up to the $72,000 were the usual things that we've talked about on the podcast before, which is high demand, low supply. We're getting close to the halving. The halving is happening in May, which is about 45 days away or so. There's numerous other factors. We also have somewhat of a negative story today, which an analyst points out to three metrics. And again, any sort of on-chain or blockchain or cryptocurrency has metrics that people can read and interpret them. And this person interpreted them to say that Bitcoin is oversold. Again, you look at the very typical metric that a lot of average people like me and you guys use, which is the fear and greed index, which shows that people are like 95, 96 when it comes to fear and greed. So again, that's also another sort of negative side. Like you usually want it to be in the 70 range where it's healthy, but in the 90 range, it can be people just buying without much thinking. So the expectation is that there's going to be a correction at some point, so it'll go back down. And again, going back to last week's episode, most people have said that corrections are to be expected. We're looking at 3 to 5% corrections in the future, probably nothing more than that. Being said, right, $72,000, right? You're here with Bitcoin Weekly by 21 Co. and you've witnessed history. So let me know what you guys think, right? Are you buying more Bitcoin? Are you selling more Bitcoin? What are you anticipating? What do you expect to happen? And let's move on to today's first story. Today's first story is Lightning Network's US dollar capacity surges to all-time high as Bitcoin capacity falters. This, of course, is from the block. And basically, it says the Lightning Network is the first layer 2, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it is the first layer 2 on Bitcoin. It's the thing that works in El Salvador where people can go to Starbucks and buy some coffee with Bitcoin. And basically, they're saying is that there's more US dollars on the network and fewer Bitcoin. And again, that makes entire sense, right? Because people are converting Bitcoin to dollars or selling their Bitcoin for dollars or just putting more dollars onto the network so they can use their wallets, their Lightning wallets, and conduct transactions, right? And make payments and things like that. So very interesting. The Lightning Network is very interesting to me because it is one solution. Stacks is another solution when it comes to Bitcoin scaling solutions. It definitely feels like the Lightning Network is not where it should be in terms of adoption, but it's still a good indicator of what's happening with Bitcoin. Again, my philosophy is like any progress when it comes to a blockchain or cryptocurrency is progress, right? Good or bad, it's still progress. It's still people figuring out what's going to happen in the future. And let's move on to today's second story. So today's second story is, of course, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF nears 200,000 Bitcoin, passing Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy. The asset manager's spot fund added just shy of 5,000 Bitcoins Friday, bringing total holdings to 195,985,000 tokens. So it's Tuesday my time. I think there's a very good chance they've already passed the 200,000 Bitcoin mark. I mean, that's fantastic for BlackRock and everyone who's bought Bitcoins with them. They're continuing to buy. Again, going back to last week's story, right? Michael Saylor took out, I think, $600 million in bonds because he wants to buy more Bitcoin. So there's a lot of buying pressure on Bitcoin, which is fantastic for people who are holding, right? Because buying pressure should, in theory, increase price. As with the halving, again, there's theories that a lot of this stuff is already priced in, so we might not get a price bump when the halving does come, but we'll have to see. The ETFs are looking really good in terms of what's being bought and in terms of the interest rate. People are still definitely very much interested. That being said, there's a part of me that does worry, like if some people If there is a price dip, are people going to start selling? And when are people going to start taking profit? So I still think things are looking fairly healthy in terms of the traditional finance side. Of course, DeFi, as I suggested to in the previous segment, is looking a bit greedy, quote unquote. But we'll have to see what happens. All right, key inflation reading is due out Tuesday morning. So it'll be Tuesday morning American time. So it'll be roughly about 10 hours from where I'm recording this podcast. The Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics released its latest reading of the Consumer Price Index at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be 8:30 p.m. Taiwanese time, so that would be really interesting. Excluding food and energy, the increase of core inflation is forecast at 0.3%. So that seems like a small amount, but that 0.3% is across a broad range of things. Also, 1/10 of a percentage point above the previous month. Inflation's resilience almost certainly will assure no Fed rate cuts at its meeting on April 3rd to May 1st. So again, when the Fed cut the rate, that means that there's more money in the system. Money in the system generally means the stock market will go up, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will go up. So with no Fed rate cut, that's just going to mean that prices will stay the same. Maybe they'll be influenced by other factors. And also ties into the idea of correlation between cryptocurrencies and inflation and traditional indicators like inflation, like the jobs market. If the news is bad, does that mean that Bitcoin will go down? Because usually that's what's happened in the past when traditional market indicators are bad, cryptocurrencies go down. But as we indicated on the 21 Shares YouTube channel and the research team, is that the cryptocurrencies and digital assets are becoming more and more decorrelated with traditional finance and traditional financial markets. So this could be that when we get bad news, if we get bad news when it comes to Labor Department statistics, it could mean that crypto could go up, but I don't know. But again, you're looking around the world, looking at things that are happening in Haiti, Ukraine, in the Red Sea, in various parts of the world, inflation is still there, prices are still going up. I was talking to my partner who was complaining about the price of these goods going up 10, 15 Taiwan dollars. So it's here. I still think we're looking at another 6 months, maybe a year of where we still have positive inflation. So we'll see. And let's move on to today's next story. All right, today's next story is by Nancy Lubale. 3 Bitcoin price metrics point to overheated conditions and a potential BTC correction. Again, something we've talked about before. So it says the independent analyst Ali spotted BTC price trading above $71,700, warning short-term traders that a reversal could be in the offing. Ali posted the following chart showing that the TD sequential indicator had sent a sell signal in BTC's 12-hour chart. So again, I'm not the most technical person. If you know what the TD sequential indicator means, you can let me know. I think this is just the information of what this indicates is good enough for you guys, good enough for me as well. If you want to deep dive on it, please do. And if you want me to deep dive on it, let me know. That's certainly another video I could make for a Monday or a Sunday video. All right, and then here they mentioned as well, CryptoQuant's bull bear market cycle indicator has flagged an overheated bull phase as prices soared above 65,000. That's another indicator. Miners are now deemed extremely overpaid, with profits hitting its highest levels in December 2023. That is impressive. Additionally, short-term holders have begun selling at the highest profit margin since February 2021, potentially heralding increased selling pressure at a CryptoQuant. Of course, this is expected. As Bitcoin price is going up, people who bought Bitcoin at different price points are selling. And even people who bought Bitcoin at 57,000 have made a $10,000, $13,000, $15,000 profit. So that's impressive. So that makes sense in terms of a healthy market, right? Because you do want buying and selling pressure. If you only have buying pressure, at some later point, everyone's be like, okay, I've made enough money, I'm going to sell. And then the market price is going to dive like there's no tomorrow. All right, let's move on to today's last story. Today's last story is this: with Mastercard, Metamask tests first blockchain-powered payment card. Issued by Bank X, the card would let users spend their crypto on everyday purchases everywhere cards are accepted, according to Marketing Materials CoinDesk reviewed. So this is only in a testing phase, and again, Mastercard, like Visa, accepted pretty much everywhere. I use my Mastercard whenever I go to 7-Eleven to buy milk or chocolate or something like that. So it'd be awesome. I'd wish I knew how this would work. So like in my Metamask, right? In my Metamask, I have Polygon, I have Ethereum, I have a bunch of other networks. And how is it deducting my crypto? Is it deducting just from a wallet that I designate, like this is where all my money's going to come out of? Is it going to be me storing USDC on there? And what is the advantage of this? So The only advantage I could see is, again, from me, is I have a bunch of smaller altcoins that I think maybe I wouldn't, they're not going to go up in the future, or they don't have any use to me. Maybe I'd like that to be used to to buy some juice or soda or something in the store. That would be really interesting. And I wonder how this is going to work with everybody, because a lot of the times, like with the crypto.com cards, with other cards, is that people left out in Asia were left out. We can't get this Metamask powered Mastercard. We can't get a lot of stuff because, again, while banks in Japan might be more accepting of crypto, I haven't heard of a Japanese bank that could say, yeah, we're going to work with Metamask so you can use Mastercard and Visa. So that's really interesting, but I feel like this is still, again, optimistically 3 to 5 years away for Asian people. I feel like a lot of these improvements happen in Western countries first when it comes to getting access to your crypto with a credit card or a debit card. Hopefully that comes sooner to Asia than not. And that's it. All right, guys, those are all the stories for today. I'm still trying to make this super short. Don't forget to check out our YouTube Shorts content, our TikTok content, our Facebook content, our Instagram content. Check out my personal channel, Korean Padiachi, so Instagram.com/Korean Padiachi, which is my full name. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. As always, I have loads of fun. Remember, no Bitcoin Weekly next week. Next week, we're going to speak to the CEO of Lionsgate Network. They're doing some amazing work to help recover stolen funds. It's really interesting. I'm so glad this was set up by a PR agency I work with called Energy Media. And with that being said, stay tuned, keep safe, take care, and see you guys next week.